My, oh my, oh my. My, oh my, oh my. Wow. My, oh my, oh my. So looking forward to doing this. What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Leo, and welcome back to the bird section. I had to get on here real quick just to, talk things that I think I know, and the thing is that I really thought that this was that time where it's important that we get to discuss the things that have happened since we've just completed our final preseason game against the New York Jets. And now we're at the point now where come Tuesday, we'll have a 53-man roster. And so I'm really kind of, excited to see where we go with that, and how we're looking, particularly as it relates to what happens as we turn the page from preseason and start working on what we're going to be doing during the off season. Well, preparing for week one against the Dallas Cowboys. And the thing is that one of the things that I didn't want to particularly get too caught up in was making my roster predictions. As a matter of fact, that will be forthcoming. Okay. I had fun last night getting a chance to talk with Laura Brunson and discussing the things that our observations, and just gaining a bit of rapport with one another. So again, shout out to Laura Brunson, for taking that time to he poured into my cup, sort of say we poured into each other's cup. And I'll be forever grateful. And listen, y'all, stay tuned this week. Laura Brunson and I are going to be getting on. He's going to be. We're going to combine our channels to talk about our predictions and what we think. What we both think we know about the Eagles and what's happening. And one of the things that I wanted to get across and have been talking about is that we saw some things that what was important about the one of the things that I have to always maintain and remember is that when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles and last preseason game of the last preseason game, is that third preseason game historically has been somewhat of an important game because there's a lot of guys who have actually, it was the third preseason game is how they made the team, i.e. Reed Blankenship, and if you guys remember Crash Test COVID, Britain COVID. These guys were having pretty much up and down camps, and then finally solidified their roster spot by in the third preseason game, having done something. And listen, folks, if you're watching, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. But do hit that like button for your boy, okay? Because there's a lot of things that are happening here that we have to, sort of kind of work our way through. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that I also know is that, when we have, certain question marks, particularly when it comes to your roster, you know, um, we have question marks at the cornerback two position, who's going to be playing safety opposite of Reed Blankenship and everything like that. And listen, the question marks are not necessarily about do we have anybody who can play. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking at quality play. Okay. And one of the things that I really appreciated, me Metal Mike, what's good, bro? How you doing, man? Sitting here just talking about things that I think I know about the Philadelphia Eagles having completed the preseason, our third preseason game, and now we turn the page and we're preparing for September 4th to go against the Dallas Cowboys, and we have 12 days or 11 days, 12 or 11 days to prepare for that first preseason game. CZ, what's good, big dog? How are you, my man? We're up here just talking, just things I think I know. And listen, fellas, if y'all haven't already, please hit that like button. You know what it means for me. It helps me out. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I really wanted to talk about, now that we have to turn a page and, we've been making fun about what's been happening with the Dallas Cowboys. Snapback Jug, what's good, bruh? What's the deal, man? Who will be our captains this year? That's a good question. I'm thinking, of course, Jalen's going to be a captain. I think Lane Johnson will be a captain. I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Mailata was a captain as well. And then, you got uh, Jalen Carter. I don't know Jalen Carter to be a captain, but on the defensive side, you definitely got Zach Bond, and despite the fact that he's going to start off on the PUP list, it wouldn't surprise me if Me Metal Mike says Mark should really consider not worrying about Jerry and Micah. You know what, Mike? Listen, man. Like it's what the difficult part about having turned the page and we have to prepare for our week one opponent is that week one opponent is the Dallas Cowboys. um Reed Blankenship, yeah, I could see that happening. you know um and unfortunately for us, our week one opponent is the Dallas Cowboys, and it's not unfortunate because they're that good or whatever. No, it's unfortunate because when you turn the page like we have to, and we have to prepare for our week one opponent, it's the Dallas Cowboys, which is basically a dumpster fire that's going on right now. So it's difficult to keep it on football when there's so much stuff going on outside of football, and that was one of the things I've consistently tried to share with folks that, when we were talking about the differences in teams, the Dallas fan bases, like they're so discombobulated right now and they're hurting so bad. you know, um, Eagles Collective Podcast, what's good, man? Hey, check your inbox. I think I sent you a email. I hope you got it. Would love to, do something with you, bro. Like let's get it. Let's get it going. Looking forward to it. Um, but what's consistently been an issue for me is the fact that now that we've turned the page and we have to talk about our week one opponent, that you can't talk about them without talking about what's the situation with Micah and everything like that. You know, um, and to be honest with you, I'm gonna try my best to keep it strictly at football, but it's not going to be easy, because for every step forward, every two steps forward with that team, you have to take a step back. One step back because of the GM and owner, who was the same person, Jerry Jones. And so although I love it, you know what I'm saying? It is something that you can't talk about the Cowboys without talking about their owner and the issues that they have when it comes to contracts and the way they do business. It's not a good way to do business, but hey, I love it. And I say, long live Jerry Jones. Jerry, you're doing a good job, bro. I think you're doing an excellent job. Keep doing what you're doing the way you're doing it. Do not worry about what the talking heads say. Do not worry about what the pundits have to say or the peanut gallery. You run that team as the best way you see fit. And I love how you're doing things. Now, that being said, and haven't gotten that off, because I'm sure that's going to rattle a lot of, Cowboy fans. And listen, y'all, tomorrow, if he's inclined to, if Mark Holmes does his, channel member calling, y'all know I'm gonna be on that show, right? Y'all know I'm gonna be on there. Y'all know I'm gonna be talking my shit for real, for real. Y'all know that I'm not going to be kind about it. Y'all know that it's going to be, real, real, real ill, because, like there's a thing called a redirect when you actually confront the Cowboys fan base right now, because they like to deflect and redirect the conversation into things that have nothing to do with football and everything to do with, stats and being looked at. They like that. They like thinking themselves as America's team because they have the largest fan base. They're the most valuable team. And everybody loves talking about them. That's their perception, and it's really what's sad about it, and funny at the same time, is that they are so far removed from winning in the modern era that the Cowboys fan base in its entirety has really learned to start. Jerry Jones has groomed them into taking comfort in stats. Dak Prescott's record in the NFC East is whatever the hell it is. It's something. It's good. It's just that's what it is. And they've had 3 12-5 seasons in a row. And, you know, um, Dak is X such and such and so and so against the Philadelphia Eagles and all this stuff. And it's just like, huh? What? And there seems to be this thing that they have where they feel like because they have now George Pickens to complement, CeeDee Lamb, that somehow or another, because of that, we are now unable to match up with them. And so they have it in their brains that George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb are going to be running like gazelles all over the field and doing it. What up, Linda? What's up, champ? How you doing, mama? You know me. Hey, I've turned the page trying to talk Cowboys because that's our week one opponent. And we have yet gotten down to our CZ says Leo, huge flaws in their roster. And that right there is the problem, CZ. They still are unable to, formidably stop the run against a formidable team like the Philadelphia Eagles. I watched the new Cowboys Netflix series. My biggest takeaways is their time of glory is over. It's the Eagles' time now. Let me say something about that. Okay. And I think that Netflix series, and I haven't watched it, I don't have any intentions on watching it, to be quite honest with you, is that it's it's all about the glory days from the late 1900s. You guys have heard me consistently say, that they don't know what it's like to be a winner in the modern era. um, Linda says a blind man can see those holes in their rosters except Dallas fans. And that in itself, that is where the problem comes because that is what makes it so difficult for them to be able to have accountability. There's no real accountability. And a few weeks ago, I did a live and talked about how I felt like every team in the NFC East outside of the Philadelphia Eagles, their front offices need to have their asses whooped for the way they've been doing things. And I was just speaking just directly to the front offices of those teams, um, because you have to, you sort of kind of have to, as a Eagles content creator, I have to circumvent the fan base, when discussing what we see, because a lot of times that is, again, the fan base has been groomed by Jerry, and if you and what's interesting is that if you look at the way they're talking now, that fan base is splintered. You got a lot of them who are now starting to turn on Micah Parsons. you know Jerry straight up lied. Now they're going to use some fancy words and try to dress it up and put their kind of hot sauce on it and everything like that. But at the end of the day, it's going to come out to a lie. Earlier in the preseason, Micah put out this long list of things that he tried to do to make it easier to get him signed. And at the time, in his third year, after his third year and going into his fourth year, he was trying to get a new contract and he was even willing to take less money. Today, you listen to what they say, and Donald, what up, my Eagles brother? I seen you on LB channel and I subscribe to your channel, Fly Eagles Fly. Donald, I so appreciate that, man. And I know you hear that a lot from people, but I do. I really do. I do not take any of my subscribers for granted because you know why? Your time is valuable. And the fact that you actually took the time and are willing to waste to spend your time listening to me talk, then I owe it to you to give you the best that I can, and I will, regardless of the number of subscribers or what people watching. You do deserve that. There will be an accountability issue here, and listen, let your friends know, let everybody know. And when it comes to the bird section, I don't need a peanut gallery. That's not what this is. This is all are welcomed, including Cowboy fans. You all are welcome, and your opinions are welcomed as well, regardless of how outrageous and the other Eagle fans may think it may be. If it's your opinion, you are more than welcome to come here and express it. Because to be honest with you, a lot of people, a lot of fan bases, you know, don't really know what it's like to win in the modern era, and that's what it is. And one of the things I've maintained is that what's fun about being a winner in the modern era is that you get to do exactly what a lot of people are doing, which is you get to plant yourself in the middle of Eagles fandom, in the middle of Cowboys fandom, in the middle of Giants fandom, in the middle of Commanders fandom, and talk your shit. And so you're more than welcome here. Linda Kanye says Saquon respectfully had 167 yards and 168 yards in the two games last year, and they bring back the same nose tackle you used last year. By the way, who is Mozzie Smith's backup? No cap. That's those holes that you were talking about, those major holes. That's one of those major holes. And if you listen to a lot of the folks who are fans of the Cowboys, there's up and down, there's peaks and valleys when it comes to Mozzie, but for the most part, a lot of the fans are out on Mozzie. They're ready to move on. Um, and so they're still, and I said this earlier, that they still haven't been able to really answer the question on whether or not they have the ability to stop the run. And I've pointed out the fact that, the Philadelphia Eagles are returning 10 of 11 starters from last year on offense. The only person that ain't come back is Makai. Now, yeah, Lander Dickerson is down for a moment. He's been week to week for a week now because he had meniscus repair on his knee. And they said that he's week to week and he may not be ready to he may not be ready to go until week 1. Which is wishful thinking. I say if we can shut them down to week 2, week 3, what I'm saying, even week 4 if we're rolling, if we're looking good. And so one of the things that when I was talking with LB the other day, and again, shout out to Laura Brunson, man. It was so much fun talking to you, and I look forward to working with you, bro. For real, it was so much fun. One of the things that I thought that was really important to point out was, one thing we enjoy that a lot of other teams don't enjoy is that even if whatever our question marks are, particularly those coming out of the third preseason game, I can take comfort in the fact that Howie Roseman is our GM. Okay, so if there is something that's not right or doesn't look right or is not up to the standard that we have, when it comes to quality players, how he's going to be on the phone and watching the waiver wire. And so I don't want to, and listen, when Lord Brunson and I, when we do our joint, channel discussions, we're definitely going to give our predictions. But I made it a point to point out the fact that, you know, um, it's difficult. It's hard to give predictions because even when we get down to the 53-man roster, which will have to be by Tuesday, by 4 o'clock on Tuesday, y'all know that there's people that make the 53-man roster. A lot of them may not even be there come week 1 for the game because on the waiver wire there may be guys that who are better, what I'm saying, that may end up that may we may have to cut, but I do take solace in the fact that even when it comes to our offensive line, I have the same sort of confidence that I have in Howie Roseman. I have that same confidence when it comes to Jeff Stoutland. You know what I'm saying? So even when we talk about these things, there you go. Let me read these. Let me read these chats real quick. Mike says, "I still don't know how I feel about Aaron Rodgers in a Steelers uniform. It don't sit right with me." It's interesting because I kind of feel like that's I felt that way when it came to seeing Randall Cunningham in the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? Even in the Vikings, that's what it did to me. So I can imagine how that must feel. CZ, oh no, okay. Mike says Steelers might squash the Ravens this season. Got to say, Baltimore, we might have your number this season. We had it last season in the regular season. And you want to know how I know? I was at that game with Eugene Monroe, who's a former Baltimore Ravens offensive lineman. Okay. We went to that game together. He sat there and watched how Cooper DeJean picked Derrick Henry up and power drive them into the ground. It is actually Eugene's contention that he thinks that this year it could, his early prediction is that it could very well be a Eagles Ravens Super Bowl. And I agree with that only because when you talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and you ask, a team that's comparable in terms of talent, who's that team? And it actually is the Baltimore Ravens. They look just like us, running, the running back, wide receivers, defense, the whole 9 yards. So I'm good with that. Um, uh, Donald, it's Howie Vision, and we all just living in it. Fly Eagles fly. Hey, you ain't never lied, Donald. You ain't never lied. Eagles put collective podcast question, Leo. Who's a player you think the Eagles can't afford to lose this season? I've been saying it's Q. Agreed. Agreed. And here's the thing, like LB and I were talking about this because I had to, put things in kind of perspective in terms of when you think about the entire preseason, the entire off season, or from OTAs till today. You know what I'm saying? Our entire off season or preseason has been about not trying to fill just starters. You know what I'm saying? Because we got a lot of guys we lost on defense, and people think that that means that we're going to take a step back. And I had to remind people, y'all do realize that this is year 2 in the Vic Fangio system. So there were a lot of guys on the team who only played in their first year, who only played 1 year in Vic Fangio's defense, and then they left, like Milton and guys like that who went to other teams and got a bag. But the other thing too is that there are a lot of guys on the team who on the defense who are also going into year 2 of the Vic Fangio defense. So there's a lot of guys, Moro Jomo, uh, Uche, Jalix Hunts. These guys, I know Eli and Keely, as well. But, you got Q, you got Cooper, you got Reed, you got Zach, you got Trotter. Trotter was a rookie last year. You know what I'm saying? And he's looking good. And then we messed around and drafted Jahad Campbell, who looks like he's going to flourish. They say that Jahad Campbell, and the way he's been playing, he's like the Philadelphia Eagles version of Micah. So we see there's a lot to be excited about. Um, uh, Christopher Baker, what's good, Christopher? How you doing, brother? Please hit the like button for me too while you're here. Thoughts on Justin Simmons? I still think we need a vet in the secondary. Chris, you know what, man? I've been saying that for a minute. I do. If we got Justin Simmons, then I would feel a lot better about the safety position than I do now. And that's not saying I feel threatened. It's just because we have options. Outside of Andrew Makuba, who's nursing a hamstring injury, and he may, we're gonna have to, the thing about hamstrings, and you could look at AJ with this, is that this is going to be a nagging issue throughout the season for both Andrew Makuba and AJ. And so we have to be, you got to be ginger with those things. You have to be careful. And so I think that if we brought Justin Simmons in, then that would definitely shore up that secondary. And he has a learning curve because he's played in Vic's defense before and would know exactly how Vic would want that position to be played. So I think that, I wouldn't be surprised if he still ended up on the roster, at some point. And he's made it known that he wants to play for the Eagles. Joe, what's good, man? I'm talking about your team. We it's time for us to turn the page and start, looking at who we got for week 1 on top of preparing for the roster cuts come Tuesday when we get down to the 53. Linda says they mad because the Eagles got rich people problems trying to figure out depth instead of worrying about signing our star defensive players. That's what I was trying to say, Linda, is that our entire offseason and the things that we've been talking about has really just been about getting quality depth. That's it. Depth. Not full-time starters, not none of that, but depth. And here's the other thing too. Pay close attention to our practice squad. You know, um, I'll say this though, in the third game, I don't think Anais Smith helped himself, because he had a couple of drops and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make the 53, but ends up on the practice squad. Man, Johnny Wilson, bruh. So sorry that happened to him, man. So sorry that happened to you, man. But I want you, I want you to just spend the year rehabbing, get yourself right, get better. You know what I'm saying? No one's holding this against you. You showed us enough that you should be brought back again. That you be, and so I look forward to having you ready to go on the 26th. And the way you've been playing, I could imagine that you're going to attack this like no other to get back on the field, like N'Kobe's trying to do. Um, Eagles Collective Podcast. Okay, what can Justin Simmons teach to a secondary that won a Super Bowl? Okay, Donald. Leo, we are going to repeat. We just got to stay healthy, start fast, and play our brand of football. And nobody in the NFL wants that smoke. And people talking shit about Jalen like he doesn't hear them. And that's, like, you know what, Donald? You're 1,000,000% correct with that. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. What did Jay? I'm taking a cue from Jalen, okay? Jalen always says, let's keep the main thing the main thing. So while you have other fan bases who are taking comfort in stats and potential, we just want we all we want is the wins. So I don't care. Makuba didn't win the Super Bowl, CJ did, just like DeJean and Q learned from Slay, just like Nolan learned from BG. That's what I think he meant. Just like Carter learned from Fletch. That's true. But there's still enough knowledge on that team and guys and again the coaching staff, because this particular coaching staff's second year with this team as well, and so I'm excited to see. Don't see me metal Mike says don't see Kansas City going back to the Super Bowl reason age. Yeah, I don't think that Patrick Mahomes Binky is going to be as effective as he has been in year past, and I'm talking about Travis Kelsey. I think Travis Kelsey's he's been looking at the way folks are looking in the off season, and he sees, he's thinking he's got options. Hey man, he's dating, one of the richest entertainers in the world. His brother looks good. His brother looks happy. His brother is having an awesome time, and he's made plenty of good money. So depending on how much money he'd be walking away from after this season, I think this would probably be his last season. And I'll say this too, because I said this on LB's channel, that I think that the Philadelphia Eagles, what we did was the gift that we gave the rest of the league is we showed the rest of the league what you need to do in order to beat Patrick Mahomes. And that is just beat him up. You know what I'm saying? However you need to, because he got touched. And the embarrassing part is that it happened on primetime TV in the biggest game of the year in front of everybody. So I'll say this though, I do see that fire in Patrick Mahomes' eyes. Watching them during their training camp, that he's just ready for the all season to get over, so that I think he wants to tear everybody a brand new asshole for talking shit. Memo don't see Kansas City going back. Yep, Simmons can teach Makuva what Vic wants to see. That's true. Uh, how you feeling about the Christopher Baker says? How you feeling about the edge room? Next draft will definitely have to be D line heavy. I agree with that too, Christopher Baker. I think we will. I think from an edge position, because you have Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith, and so what we'll be drafting is quality depth because we need that rotation. Now what's interesting is that this year and I know I know we lost a lot of guys last year, and I know we have, I get it, you know what I'm saying, but I truly believe that this year's defense is going to be better than last year's defense. And understand something, Vic Fangio broke the record. We broke the record for we were 26. We were ranked 26 on defense last year. By the end of the year, we were ranked number one. That's the record. No team has ever made that significant of a jump from 26 to one. And so basically, all you have to do is just improve upon one and get even better. Hence why I'm all about the quality of depth, and why I was trying to bring up the fact that our linebacking core, holy smokes, Zach Bond, Jihad Campbell, Jeremiah Trotter, these guys, I mean, Jesus Christ. And then, N'Kobe Dean is working his way back. I think he'll be ready by week 5, week 4, ready to come off a PUP. You know, um, we got Aziz Ojolari. You know what I'm saying? Joshua Uche. Ty Robinson on the defensive tackle side. These guys. I mean, good God Almighty. APR flashed at the end of the Jets game. Don't know if he cracks the 53 and scared someone might snatch him from the practice squad. You know what though? That's okay. Sandeep Singh, how you doing, Sandeep? Will you stream games? You know what, Sandeep? I'm sort of kind of on the fence with that because I think I tried it. I think last year, and the problem with me is that I get so into the game I forget that there are people watching or talking to me, and I'll mess it up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sort of kind of on the fence with that, and I have to get better at it. So I will eventually, but not to start the season off because I want to get into practice of being able to be conscious of the fact that there are people watching and talk and be able to give you my take as the things happen. So give me some time with that, man, because as y'all can see, I'm still young in this, and please, Christopher Baker, no one picked Simmons up yet because proven vets don't want to go through training camp, and teams want to see what the 53-man roster looks like first. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I actually have you guys know my business part, my boy, my brother Eugene Monroe. He's talked extensively about what the off season and for veterans, particularly when it comes to training camp and everything like that. They don't want to go through that shit. Um, Me Metal Mike says, "Who surprised you in the Jets game?" Man, so Matt McWilliams, Scene, um, we have a running back too. There was a young running back who did well as well. Give me some time, Metal Mike, because there's a few people that I think did really well. A lot to be desired, but I wasn't really focused on on winning the game. I just wanted to see how guys were looking playing because there's a few guys who made a case for themselves, and I think because we have such a big question mark at the DB2 position, some of the guys, uh, Keely Ringo and Eli Ricks, both one of them didn't even dress, if not both of them didn't dress for the game or play, and so that right there was a disappointment. Um, Montrell Johnson. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Linda. Montrell Johnson. I think he Montrell Johnson definitely made a case he should be on somebody's roster, if not ours. And if we can put his ass on the practice squad. And that's what I meant by it. I said not when we just have quality depth, but pay attention. I was saying pay attention to our practice squad because we're gonna have some good guys on there too. Our wide receivers, geez, oh man, Darius Cooper. He's my biggest thing. And I like the way John Mechie looked too. So his ability to run those routes look good. And Emmanuel Theodore says, here from Lord Brunson. Great talk, Leo. Fly Eagles fly. Hey, Emmanuel, man, thank you, man. I was trying to tell folks I had a really, really good time talking with LB, and LB and I are actually going to do a Eagles 53, sorry, LB and I are actually going to do a 53-man roster prediction in the next coming days before we get to Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to doing it with him and doing more things. I thought it was such a great conversation. I didn't expect us to talk as long as we did, but there was so many things that he and I hit on, particularly when you're talking about two veterans, and the way we analyze things and see things. So thank you, man. And if you haven't already, please, guys, if you're here and you're watching, do me a favor, take a split second to just hit that like button. Okay, help me get this algorithm going and everything like that because I want to get these subscribers up. If not for Lord Brunson and me being on there, I actually got, and he said it, yo, man, he said, I'm gonna have some people subscribe to your channel, and lo and behold, I got like 100 subscribers just from talking with him. So I'm really appreciative of that, and I want to keep it going. Very complimentary on my ability to conversate and talk about all things Philadelphia and the rest of the league as well. And I want to bring that to you. That's why I said, if you're here, then that lets me know that I value your time, and accountability will not be an issue here, because the one thing that I also like is I also am big on integrity. So as much shit as I talk, because I was on, if you guys don't know, I was on Mark Holmes' show right before the Super Bowl, and I told everybody that I think we were going to repeat and threaten a three-peat. And I've gone on record to say that where we are right now at this time in time is we are at the beginning of witnessing something special, and I think that's what's happening right now. And it's like, and I know, and listen, when I said that, that got everybody, a lot of people fired up about what I had said, and I realized something. The reason why a lot of folks from other fan bases got fired up is because as much as they don't like us, I know they think it's true, you know. And if not, then I came at it a different way. Who would you? Who do you think the Philadelphia Eagles have a better than average chance of making it to the Super Bowl this year? And when you put it that way, there's no denying it. Uh, Perry Nicholson looked good. Yes, he did. Witch King. Christopher Big said, I'm actually excited to see AJ Dillon run with this line. You know what? You know what? Christopher, okay, very good point there. So let me explain something to folks, right? AJ Dillon didn't play last year because he had the neck injury. Okay. So I remember AJ from his time with Green Bay the years before that, right? And he's never played behind a line like the one that we have. And I think that just like with Isaiah Rodgers, I think a lot of people forgot that AJ Dillon was on our team. Okay. And AJ is going to see some of the best years, and he's going to see a revival in his career because he'll have this massive O line to deal with. And considering the fact that our running back rotation being Will Shipley, AJ Dillon, and Saquon Barkley, they say Saquon looks better this year than he did last year. And for those of you who may not understand the rationale behind me saying this, but I didn't mind not seeing majority of the starters from last year playing in the off season, because here's the thing: a lot of these guys, we have a lot of guys who were who was on the team when we lost in to Kansas City 2 years ago in the Super Bowl, and then we're on the team who won the Super Bowl last year. So if you take the year before, so the last 3 years, we got a lot of guys who played almost 60 games. And so for these guys not to play in the offseason as a matter of just, keeping them as fresh as we can, what I'm saying? I'm okay with that. And you guys will have to get used to hearing this term from me, this phrase, which is out of abundance of caution, because I'm always saying, listen, you know, uh, I'm of the opinion that I think that these guys do need to have we're going to have to, especially when you look at this year's schedule, it's going to come down to health at the end of the season, who's the healthiest. And so I'm fine with that. you know um would you have me Metal Mike says, would you rather have Romo or Dak, Leo? Good question. Good question. Good question. Would I rather have Romo or Dak? Neither. But if I had to choose between the two, I would probably have to go with Dak, because he's the more athletic of the two, and that's it. Which ain't saying much. So there you have it. Um, they getting mad. Let us know. Let them getting mad let you know it's true. Rams and Niners might be a problem though. Absolutely. The Rams almost fucked it up for us last season. They came the closest to fucking it up for us. And so definitely playing because Versa, those dudes, like, hey, they think we stole their Super Bowl too. Just like Detroit thinks that. The same way San Fran thought about it. Like they looked at it as like last year, this past season's Super Bowl. A lot of other teams felt like this was their Super Bowl and we took it from them. So they have a chip on their shoulder, like we care. Blue Pill says AJ Dillon is such an underrated sign. And Blue Pill, and you know what? I want folks to continue to look past it and keep it underrated. You know what I'm saying? And not look at it. You know what? I would rather they all take the same positions that Nick Wright has. You know what I'm saying? Keep underestimating us. We like that. Retro Gang Grub and Cowboys, you guys are going to be a tough running team to stop. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because if you can't stop, if you do what Kansas City did in the Super Bowl, which is devote resources, assets, and resources to just primarily stopping the run, they held Saquon to 60, but AJ, Devontae, Dallas, Jahan, you know what I'm saying? And then you look at and here's the thing: our wide receiver room got even better, because we brought in John Mechie. We have Darius Cooper. You know what I'm saying? Listen, we're deep. Okay, we're deep in the skill positions. You know, Nina Austin. Hi, Nina. Nina says, saw you on LB show last night. I subscribe to you. Great content. Keep up the great work. And I'm going to try, Nina. And I'm going to make sure that and listen, I want you all to hold me accountable too. Okay, you don't hear that a lot, but I'm gonna say it. Hold me accountable too. Let me know when you think when I'm getting a little too high on my on I'm high siding too much at others' expenses. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate you spending your time here with me, and I hope that you don't feel like it was a waste of time, and that you get something out of it, if anything. And can you do me a favor and hit that like button, because y'all know I'm all about trying to get. I really want to see the algorithm do right by us. You know what I'm saying? So please do. Um, uh, uh, let's see. It's Mike. What up, big dog? What up, Mikey? You know what I'm saying? Me Metal Mike says everyone is sleeping on Broncos and Panthers. No, I'm not sleeping on the Broncos, and the Panthers are up and coming if they do right by Bryce Young. And I think they did, because I think they got him some O-line help, because he was getting touched too much. And so I think that, like, if they do that, it's sort of kind of like what Washington did when they drafted that old lineman for Jaden Daniels. You got to keep him upright. And besides, Jaden Daniels is still a little too light in the ass, if you ask me. Um, Retro says it's like pick you poison, Saquon or Dylan. Yes, that running back rotation is going to be something serious. You know what I'm saying? Thunder, lightning, ground pound, whatever you want to call it, it'll be that. Hey, listen, defensive coordinators are going to have to get really, really creative and how you're going to attack the Philadelphia Eagles. And so it's going to be, it's going to be something that you all, like, those teams are going to have to really game plan for. And the fact of the matter is that we all know this to be true, regardless of whether you do or don't think Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback and all this other stuff. You all do see the fact that every year our quarterback gets better and better and better. Last year was the first season that Jalen Hurts actually started calling out the protections. When Jason Kelsey retired, the responsibility of calling out the protections, Jalen Hurts took that on, and he did really well diagnosing defenses and what he sees. And then you hear, you hear Peyton Manning saying things like, Jalen Hurts calls me all the time, and when he does, he has specific questions about specific plays, and he appreciates the fact that he's really turned into a student of the game, and the cerebral part of the game is really embraced that. And you see it. I've watched Jalen on the sidelines, and he looks like he's in coaching mode when he's watching what he sees and everything like that, how he's diagnosing things. So I just see the sky's the limit. I told LB the other night that when it's all said and done, in my opinion, I really think that when it's all said and done and Jalen is finished playing football, that at the end of his career, we will have caught the Dallas Cowboys in Super Bowl wins. And the fact of the matter is that I think that's scary to the Cowboys fan base, because it just spells nothing but, continuous disappointment. So we'll see. Uh, Mike says Chiefs couldn't stop Hurts despite putting their eggs into one basket, focusing on Barkley, and it cost them. Yeah, because they underestimated Jalen Hurts' smarts and his arm. They given Jackson Dart Royal Cartman treatment. Apex, well, peace, Apex. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you why. What else are they gonna do? Russell and Jameis. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but Jackson is the future, and everybody knows it. Um, the league is in trouble. I don't think there's a team that is going to stop the Eagles repeat. We are going back to the Super Bowl, and the trophy is staying in Philadelphia. Fly, Eagles, fly. Say it again, Donald. Say it again. Uh, Chris Baker says, I actually don't think they will give Hurts MVP. He should have gotten it in 2022, and they gave it to Mahomes. I agree with that. And the only reason why I don't think that Jalen Hurts will really truly get that kind of respect, not for some years, is because we are not far enough removed from a lot of the talking pundits having said the disparaging things about Jalen that they said in these last few years. And if Jalen were to win the MVP, it would make them look very, very bad. So it's not that, like, I know they see the same things we see. I know they know better. The problem is that they're just not going to admit to it. Uh, Raiders are another upcoming team with Gentry. They are because of Austin Gentry and also because of who their coach is. You know, Pete Carroll. He's been successful everywhere he's gone, and I think that's a you know that's the AFC out west, and they're gonna have to deal with that. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing a Raiders Eagles Super Bowl matchup because then we have some demons to exercise with them from 1980. Okay, 45 years ago, the Raiders defeated the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So I want my get back on that. I need to get my lick on that. You know what I'm saying? Uh Linda, I don't think people realize that AJ Dillon squats more than Saquon. He's 247 pounds. Imagine Eagles up 14 and Dillon is now running at Adam. Facts, Linda, facts. And the thing about it is that Linda, he's playing behind this O line historically. Running backs who play behind this O line. Look at Miles Sanders. Look at DeAndre Swift. Look at Saquon. AJ is going to have a damn good year. If anything, he's going to get his ring. Okay. Unique Cross. What's up, Unique? Hey, saw you on LB stream, and I'm Birds Junkie. I love what you had to say. Subscribed and already liked it. You know what, Unique? I appreciate you. Please make sure you share this with your friends. Let them know to come back, because here's the thing, and I've been telling everybody consistently, I expect you to hold me accountable. Okay. If you feel like I'm high siding too much at at other people's expense, let me know. Everybody here is welcome. Okay. So I appreciate that. Retro, I agree. Both of them are complimentary and can wear down D lines. Dallas has no chance, no run D. No argument. That's how you shut me up. That's how you shut me up right there. State facts that are true. uh, Eagles Collective Podcast. I truly think a lot of games are going to be like the Super Bowl game. Everyone trying to stop the run, and our wide receivers playing one on one. I think so too. You know, I was on Game Time Bryant's channel member page as a panel host, representing the Eagles, and it was with Terrence Parsons. And Terrence Parsons says, I asked him, about Jalen and what he thought about, how Jalen, looks and why he's not getting the respect that he gets and stuff like that. And you know what Terrence Parsons said? Terrence Parsons said, I need to see Jalen have a Lamar Jackson type of season, 4,500 yards, 50 touchdowns, that type of thing, or what have you. And I looked and I was just like, wait. So you would much rather him have a high number of passing yards and a lot of passing, touchdowns than a Super Bowl win? Mm. See what I mean when I say like the thinking here? We're listen, everybody who's watching this right now, everybody who's in the chat, understand something, okay? When it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles in comparison to the Dallas Cowboys fan base, the Philadelphia Eagles fan base is breathing a very different type of air. Okay, we're breathing a different air. The air up here is so much nicer than where you guys are. And understand something. I am so not, because I have Cowboy fans, and y'all gonna see it tomorrow on Mark Holmes's channel when I get on there, for the channel member calling. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe. Subscribe to Mark Holmes's show, his channel too, as well as, shout out to Philly 500. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Laura Brunson. Shout out to Game Time Brian. Subscribe to those channels because you'll probably see me at some point on all those channels. You know what I'm saying the things that I'm saying. But understand something. when I have Cowboy fans telling me you guys are so arrogant, you guys are this, you guys are that. Let me explain something to you. Yes, we are all of that. Whatever bad things you have to say about us and how you don't like the way we act and everything like that, that's fine. Because you know why? I'm not here to make you feel better. You want me to humble myself because it makes you feel better. You want me to act differently because it makes you feel better. Man, fuck your feelings. Nobody care about your feelings. You don't even know what it's like to be a winner again in the modern era. All your Super Bowls are from the late 1900s. Okay? So I don't give a goddamn about your damn feelings. I really don't. I'm not here to make you feel better. That's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? Win the Super Bowl and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. You'll again, we're breathing a very different air here. You know what I'm saying? Cuz I don't hear Cowboy fans telling, Chiefs fans they need to, humble themselves and calm down and all this other stuff. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Stop. Okay. Mike says Dallas has no cojones for for week one. You know, hey, Retro says, hey, truth hurts. Why lie about it? The mindset is different. Yes, Nina, it's very different because you're breathing a different air. Marcus Blackman was good, bro. I'm talking about your team. I'm talking shit because now y'all the focus because y'all week one and we on it now. Um, I'm over it, Leo. Can't control what the old fart Jerry does. I hear you. Marcus Black, how about them Cowboys? Yeah, how about them Cowboys? Linda says stats is the only celebration Cowboy fans have. 3 12-5 seasons along with 33-8 against the NFC East and 9-4 against the Eagles. All this is with 4 playoff wins in 30 years. And the most important stat is 0 Super Bowls. 0 NFC championship games. That's the most important stat. They can quote that stuff all day long. That's what makes them feel better. But I don't care about their feelings. So who cares? So many teams see wins and stats rather than truly winning games. Hey, Retro says, hey, I have a world record in this decade. Not my fault. Jerry is an ass. Yeah, and you know what, man? I feel I would say I feel bad for you. I don't. It's just it's embarrassing for the rest of the fan base. Retro, you're probably one of the more reasonable Cowboy fans, and so I don't think they deserve you. And I hate to see misplaced loyalty. So good on you. I'm here, y'all. DC for oh boy, see another one, Marcus. I think you would have been a great Eagles fan because that loyalty would have been rewarded time and time again. Again, we're dealing, we're Unique says Dallas stinks. Marcus Blackman, Dak Prescott owns the Eagles. You know what? Dak Prescott owns the Eagles, but guess what? He doesn't own. He ain't got none of that. Dak hasn't even come close to smelling this. So you can go ahead and take comfort and be the example that we've been talking about in terms of what Cowboy fans have to take comfort in. Okay, those numbers you got feel better. Okay, if that what makes you feel better. Dak Prescott owns a seat on the sit your ass on the couch. The seat the couch down in Cancun. Facts. Unique says Dak Prescott owns the title of biggest choker. Mm. Uh, no way, Drew here. Oh snap! Oh yeah, retro. Yeah, Drew. What up, champ? What's good, man? Glad you here. We had to turn the page, get ready, because it's about that time for us to start getting ready for week one. But we're in between now and week one. We got to get down to the 53-man roster. I'm actually going to be doing something with Laura Brunson in the next few days, where we're actually going to do a joint channel broadcast to talk about our predictions for the 53-man roster, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Jalen Hurts still has a high ceiling with a ring. Cowboys fans don't understand how dangerous that is. I've been saying the one thing that they can that makes them upset is that you can look back at Jalen Hurts' career and see that he's continuously progressed and understand something. That progression has happened with a brand new offensive coordinator every year. Every year. Okay. That does nothing but produce that's going to probably produce one of the most successful quarterbacks in league history when it's all said and done at the end of Jalen's career. And I've been telling everyone that I think that when Jalen is done, we'll probably end up having caught the Cowboys and maybe even surpassed them. So don't be surprised. Uh, Lamar Jackson owns the 99-cent store section. Oh man, that's hard. You know what I'm saying? But you know what though? I can't argue with you only because Lamar has how many Super Bowls? Hasn't even been to the Super Bowl. So you can go ahead and collect he can go ahead and collect all those league MVPs. All hey, him and Josh, you know what I'm saying? Go for it. Josh, Mahomes, Joe Burrow. Yeah, y'all go ahead and collect those league MVPs. We'll collect the rings. You know what I'm saying? Um, Jaden Daniel owns the Five Below store. Jaden Daniels needs to own some more food and get his weight up. When Dak has more playoff wins than the Dallas third string quarterback, come talk to me. Yeah, Drew, you ain't never lie. Uh, Marcus Hurts has done a splendid job, but this year he's going down. Marcus, that is such wishful thinking that if that's what you need to tell yourself to feel better, have at it, brother. Uni Cross, Kenny Pickett has a Super Bowl ring before Dak. That is true. Let's get those likes up, y'all. Thank you, Drew. Yeah, hey, y'all. Please keep hitting that like button. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe, share this, because again, I know that the things that I am saying is going to trigger a lot of people. Now, here's the crazy part. When you get me and Laura Brunson on the same channel broadcast, ooh, that's going to be that's really going to trigger a lot of people. I would think that particularly when it comes to the Dallas fan base and other fan bases, there's going to be a lot of people who watch these things and they're going to need to get their subscriptions, their medications adjusted. I can see a lot of people having to go see their therapists. A lot of people are going to. I'll even predict that a lot of people are going to hit the unlike button a lot just because it's the two of us. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting, Drew, because I was on LB's channel last night. And we had a really good talk. We ended up talking for quite a while, and we agreed we're going to probably do something in the next couple of days to talk about it. Yeah, Drew. It was bananas, man. LB is it's like when you get a chance to actually interact with him, he's even better than he is in just his videos and the lives that he do with with the NFC East Super Friends. He's funny as hell, but he's actually again he's a real one. You know what I'm saying? And same thing with Philly 500. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Laura Brunson's page, but also subscribe to Philly 500 too. Philly, I hope you're feeling better, brother. You know what I'm saying? I told you the fan base needs you. We need you well. I hope your family is well. I hope that these days of quarantine have been, easier, now and again, man, I really just need we need you, man. Um McNabb has been in Super Bowl and Dak hasn't. That's true. CD and Pickens, Marcus, CD and Pickens will run not only NFC East, but will take over the NFL. Okay, see, Marcus, see, at this point, I'm gonna say this, right? At this point, I think what you're doing is you're just saying things that you don't really believe. You just hope that it comes true, but you don't actually believe that to be true. Especially when you look at this team, there's no way you're looking at this team and you're saying, "Oh yeah, we're so much better than the Eagles." No, you're not. Okay, so let's just keep it all real. Um, uh Marcus Drew, it's going to be interesting to see how that first game goes down. Marcus, you guys are more worried. You're not going to win that game. Okay. You're not going to win that game. What you guys are more worried about is how bad is it going to be? Because what you don't want to be is you don't want to be embarrassed. Okay. You really don't. That's the thing. So, because we're talking banner night, first game of the season, prime time on a Thursday. Yeah, y'all about to get y'all asses kicked for real. LB is a solid dude, bro. Yes, he is. Uh, Linda, Dak Prescott is 3-5, 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Cooper Rush 4-5, 12 touchdowns. Rush outplayed Dak Prescott last year. What y'all smoking? And listen, even though Dak got out, he went out because of the hamstring. He was having a shitty year even before he got hurt. So let's keep it all the way a buck. Leo was LB in the type of military position you thought he was. Yes, I called it. Yup, Drew, I called it. I said that. You were there. You remember. I said, I think, and that was because of the way Game Time was describing him and the way he was talking about him. And I kept saying, I don't think Game Time realizes he's talking to an NCO. And I said that, and I finally got a chance to confirm that when I talked to LB because I let him know. I was like, I figured it out. It took me a minute, but I figured out why a lot of people may have a problem with Lord Brunson and why a lot of people may have a problem with me is because you're talking to former non-commissioned officers in the United States Army. Listen, y'all, if y'all don't know what that means, if y'all don't know what that's like, understand something. Non-commissioned officers, NCOs, those are your sergeants, your drill sergeants, your sergeant majors, all those, that make up your NCOs. Those people, okay, those kind of people, they have PhDs in shit talking. You're never going to out shit talk them. And they are always going to they're going to deliver it in the most brutal of ways. So when I hear Lord Brunson talking and everything like that, it's almost like he's giving the Friday safety brief or a sit rep. You know what I'm saying? You're just not going to do it. What happened to Philly 500? Oh, Marcus, him and his family contracted COVID, so they've been down for like almost a week now. So we just want him to get better. And he's on the mend too. I believe the passing attack will be top tier, Leo. It could be, but not against us. um, Lane Johnson praying that Michael will not play because he's always getting owned by him. Okay. No, he's not getting owned by him, but Lane Johnson has gone on record saying he's a problem. You know what I'm saying? And he is, which is why he should get the kind of money that he's trying to get and the kind of contract that he's getting. So I'm not saying that's wrong, but so, CZ, Drew, don't talk bad about that like that, or Mark will get you. Yup, he's right. You better be careful, y'all. Um, don't sleep on the Dallas Cowboys pass rush. It's going to be fierce. Yes, but not against us. Um, Leo, how much more can we Cowboys fans be embarrassed? Ownership has done a great job of that. How worse could it be? You'll find out on September 4th. By September 4th, you'll find out just how bad it could be. It can't because it can get and it will. Okay. You'll see. Um, Leo and LB has seen action. You're not winning. Yep, yeah. Drew, you got to be kidding me though. I thought COVID was a thing of the past. Nah, nah, Marcus. Yeah. There's someone else that I know of who just contract. Listen, y'all. If anything, do your due diligence, okay? You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you to put your mask on and everything like that, but do wash your hands, keep the sanitation stuff around and everything like that. Be mindful because Momo, I think Momo has, so shout out to Momo. Momo also contracted COVID too. So Momo, I hope you're feeling better, holding you and your family up in prayer as well. You definitely got to get back. So get better, man. Um, you everyone should get a break on the COVID year. That hurt everyone. Yeah, I think so too. Retro. Marcus having a top tier throwing offense is problematic. Your O line is young and inexperienced. Putting them in Strawberry, Daiquiri in the position is not going to work. Drew, listen, don't do that to them. Okay, they need something. Okay, they need something to be able to tell themselves to make them feel better about what's coming down the pike. There's a lot happening, y'all. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot happening. These people, just it's been difficult for them. Okay, it's been very difficult these last couple of years. And so the 12 and 3, 12 and 5 seasons, okay, we were 14 and 3 last year. We've consistently made the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Okay, there's not much, so I get it. And for those of you who think that the passing attack is going to be something of monstrous against us, okay, keep thinking that, okay, and then I want you to maintain that energy and come to the bird section after the game. And if should we lose, integrity would demand that I stand here and present myself as saying, hey, we were wrong. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing. That game one is going to mean more to you guys, whether you win or lose, than it will to us. It's going to mean more to you. You know what I'm saying? Week one is your Super Bowl. And with the dumpster fire that your owner is has brought forth upon you, it's undermined your brand new coach. And understand something, and let's put things in its proper perspective, okay? The Dallas Cowboys, as it stands today, their best player is not signed, which, by the way, there's like some discrepancy in the way the owner describes the situation versus the way Micah's agent is describing it, and I believe in the agent, to be honest with you, you know. But this undermines your brand new coach, your brand new defensive coordinator, your brand new offensive coordinator, your brand new secondary coach. Everybody's brand new on that team. And you're going into week one with those issues as of yet to be resolved against the defending Super Bowl, against the reigning Super Bowl champions, the night they raise the banner in their house. You know what, Marcus? Yeah, you're right. I will be here. Okay, we'll be here. All right, we'll be here. Just make sure you're here and maintain that energy. Okay. Marcus is hey y'all, you got to give Marcus a pass. That's my man, 50 grand. I love that dude. That's my man. You know what I'm saying? And every now and again, he just hasn't, he's one of those Cowboy fans that hasn't gotten his medication adjusted. You know what I'm saying? And in some cases, he does skip taking his medication, but I do think that I do think they need to be on medication. Not worried about Saquon ever since he was on the cover of Madden. Are you referring to the Madden curse? That's where you at now? The Madden curse. Okay. Okay. You know, Drew, don't go down that rabbit hole with him. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they want you to be at. Don't. Just don't. Don't do it. They can't help themselves, and I'm not going to try to help them. Long live Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, keep doing what you are doing. Jerry Jones, run that team the way you feel, as best as you feel. Okay, that's what I want. I want to see y'all run. I want to see y'all hit. See y'all keep going. I want him to do what he thinks he is doing right. Yes, I love it. You know what I'm saying, Marcus? I know you know what it is. Yeah, get on that damn. Get your medication right. Linda, that's why I'm laughing at Linda. I'm laughing too. That's how bad it is in Dallas. It's so bad. They now just relying upon the Madden curse. That's that. This is ridiculous. You can't make this shit up. I promise you, you can't make it up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know what to say. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I look forward to being able to, just get. You know what I need? I need to get to Friday the 5th. You know what I'm saying? I think once we get to Friday the 5th, Cowboy fans will, calm themselves down a bit and not have to say too much to us. But yeah, it's listen, here's and Linda hit it earlier. You know what I'm saying? Our running back room. Oh, oh, oh. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, y'all. Y'all not thinking about like y'all. So we just gonna act like AJ Dillon on our team. We just gonna act like Will Shipley ain't improved either. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, we got the youngin on we got another young running back that's showing his ass too. You know, and I want to say this real quick too. When I think about the DB2 position, I think you know who I think is going to end up being ultimately. I think it's going to be Jacorian Bennett. I just think that we haven't seen enough from Jacorian because he's still trying to get himself acclimated to playing in Philadelphia. He even said it himself. Just give me some time. I haven't. He hasn't gotten himself settled in personally. He hasn't gotten himself acclimated too well to the playbook, but he's getting there. Drew at Leo. What is said when an airstrike is called in the military? What is said when an airstrike is called in the military? Um, I don't understand that, Drew. Tell me what it is, and then I'll confirm it for you. I need to know like where you're coming from with that, because I know we just hear, whenever there's a mortar attack or anything like that. Because I was stationed at Joint Base Balad in northern Iraq. They used to call it its code name was Anaconda, Camp Anaconda, and its its nickname was Mortar Reedaville. Okay, that's what we used to call it, because we used to get hit every night. Oh my god, you know what I'm saying? So and all I remember is you would get the broken arrow. No, that's not, no, broken arrows when you've been overrun by the enemy. That's not what an airstrike is. Um, unless well, actually, yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Yeah, it is called broken arrow. You're right, because it tells you that your position has been fortified. So now you're calling in every available plane in the area, to come and drop bombs. So you might actually, I take that back. You might be right if that's what Drew was talking about. Um, uh, Marcus Blackman, watch how effective the Cowboys' offensive line plays this season. They're going to surprise the entire league. Maybe after, okay, yeah, you were talking about Broken Arrow. Yep. Um, um, Marcus, I think if that's the case, it won't be week one, and if you're relying upon the three Tylers and all that stuff, it's not, no, not week one. Whatever you think that O line is going to be, it's not going to show itself on week one, to include your defense. Again, y'all can't stop the run. And y'all couldn't even stop the run with Micah on the field. Okay. So let's just put things in its proper perspective. Because again, I said week one, prime time, Thursday night, we're the night we're raising the new Super Bowl banner. And you think you just gonna come up in our house and fuck it up? That's what y'all really want. Y'all just want to ruin the night for us. That's what it is. That's where you at right now. It's not going to change the fact the banner gets raised before the game. Okay. That's when we officially really had turned the page. Okay. So, okay. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was a napalm strike. Yeah, okay, yep. It's whatever is available, what assets, whatever military assets are available to immediately come to the aid of the person who called the broken arrow, and you have to, pretty much make sure you call it a danger close. So if you have friendly personnel in the immediate vicinity. So that's what it's called, so yeah. But again, folks, if you haven't already, please, again, I have to keep reminding you guys, the folks that are just getting here, hit the like button, help your boy out. You know what I'm saying? And get these subscribers up for me. You know what I'm saying? Because it helps again, and y'all already know all these helps with the algorithm and everything like that. I've been on here for over an hour. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting ready to shut it down, but I will be. Stay tuned. Pay attention for tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I'll be on, if Mark Holmes does his channel members call-in show, I will definitely be on it. And y'all know I'm coming in there. I'm coming in hot. Okay. I'm coming in talking shit. I'm coming in because I've already gone on record saying I believe we're going to repeat, and I believe we're going to threaten a three-peat. You know what I'm saying? And we are, whether you agree with me or not, we are in the beginnings of witnessing something very special here in Philadelphia, the start of a dynasty. Thanks, Marcus. I appreciate you. With that being said, I thank all of you for being on here. I thank all of you for your time, because you could have been anywhere else and spent that time on anything else, but you spent it here at the Birds section. And because of that, I want it to be known that all are welcomed here. All are welcome to come in, talk your shit, have fun, but let's get this done. Um, Let me say this real quick. Ringo is ass, but it's still better than most Dallas cornerbacks. That's true. Bring your A game, Leo. Talk your talk, fam. I will. Candy McDaniel, thank you so much for being here. You know what I'm saying? I was just getting ready to shut everything down because I'm going to be on the Mark Holmes show tomorrow night at the 5 o'clock. And then at some point or another in the next couple of days, once me and Laura Brunson figure out the logistics behind everything, Lord LB and I are going to be doing a joint channel show where we're going to be giving our 53-man predictions, and then also talk a little bit about what's happening in the league with our week one opponents, and then everyone else in the league and where we think things will fall. You know what I'm saying? I had a great time talking with him last night. It was so much fun. And I'm looking forward to doing some more things. I also going to be doing something with Bird Gang, BGN. I'm also going to be doing something with there's someone else too. I want to say, I think is it retro? No, not retro. It's um, uh, I'm trying to think who else. I know I'm doing something else with somebody else too. I just can't remember who. Oh, and listen, if you haven't done so yet, check out my last video that I did with a special guest, Jamila Zahar. Let me tell you something, okay? That's going to be a new up and coming Commander's content creator who I am going to personally work with and help her get her thing going on too by getting her the exposure like it was done for me with Mark Holmes and Game Time Brian. She is absolutely going to kill it, you know what I'm saying? Because this is actually her thing, you know what I'm saying? And and Jamila is so funny, y'all. I mean funny because she's going to be putting out some great videos, and then she's going to be doing her thing. Candy McDaniel, thank you so much. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? And but when she gets started, because I told her I was going to stay on her ass about getting on and doing this, because this is her thing. She's a brand new mom, well, not a brand new mom, but a fairly young mom, young in motherhood, but is a great mom and has been doing a lot of things. And I'm just so proud of her. Uh, Jamila was speaking mighty spicy the other night. Marcus, she's built for this. Tell the truth, right? Is Jamila built for this or what? You know what I'm saying? I predict that she is going to surpass all of us and she's going to be big in this. Uh, yeah, Apex, I appreciate you, man. You know what I'm saying? I want this to blow up, you know what I'm saying? But I like the fact that we all get to be here and talk with one another and enjoy the season. I look forward to being on here with everybody and everyone getting a chance to talk their shit. I am going to open this up to the chat so that I can get more folks on here on a regular and on it so that you all can get your airtime, and we'll make it better, okay? Yo, I like her style, Leo. Yeah, she's definitely built for this. Going to be great. Yes, it is. Yes, she is. You know what I'm saying? And I even went as far as to say, I think her and Momo are going to be funny. You know what I'm saying? If we can get if we get her and Momo together, because she can bring sense and sensibility to some of the things that Momo be saying. But then again, I may have to, gatekeep a bit and keep her away from Momo because he does not know what he's saying a lot of time. Yeah, it's going to be a great season. And I'm looking forward to it. And with that, I'm gonna shut it down now. But look, y'all, I will see you all tomorrow at 5 o'clock on Mark Holmes's channel. Please, again, subscribe if you haven't already. I look forward to seeing all of you. And again, thank you so much for giving me your time. Y'all have a good rest of the night. Peace.